pretty impressive. They are, yes, indeed. But there is still something to actually like show us to suggest that they're going to be winning in that community vote. I'd reserve judgment if I were you. Now, judgment be done. Let's move on into the actual match. We've got Lion banned right off the bat here by the Soniqs. They want none of that. We saw some of that in the European relegations, and we're seeing it now in North American. Nomad banned out as well. This one by Obey. Okay, I like the bans here on the attacking side. The defensive bans I expect to be very standard. This will probably be a Mira. If it's not, that is surprising, and we'll see a very interesting coastline. There you go, Mira banned. So defensive bans, standard. Nothing too crazy. On the attack, Lion is becoming more frequently banned by some people as of late. I think we always see a different meta in the bans, especially when we're going into a LAN event, and we're getting close to Japan. We might be seeing some hinting at what's going to happen at Japan by what we're seeing on the attacking side of this ban phase, specifically with Lion. Who knows, though? I mean, things could change. And that's what usually happens. Again, rapidly leading up to a LAN event, you see the whole meta shift across all regions because people are trying their best to change things up to gain an advantage. It's interesting little tidbit there.
Yeah, and you definitely are going to need it in this sort of matchup. This is where everything comes out. You're fighting for survival.
Yeah.
And for Challenger League teams, you're fighting for a new career in Pro League.
Yeah, and one really quick, if in case you're wondering how I'm connecting the lead up to a LAN event to relegations, because they are kind of on opposite ends of the field, I connect them specifically through scrims. Scrimming, dry running, what goes on behind scenes, they touch each other. When you have the teams going to LAN, they're all practicing, they're all learning things, they're all putting stuff into the behind closed doors meta that continually evolves in Siege. And that does trickle down here to relegations.
Yeah.
It trickles down all the way.
It happens before LAN and it happens after LAN. There's always that thing where there's new things that are still hidden and you really kind of want to show them, maybe some pocket strategies for important matches that you'll have either at LAN or right before it. And there's some others where now, okay, we are after our LAN event. We've had massive changes to the game. We've had new operators, new strategies, new maps, maybe, etc. And all of that has to be accounted for. And that's where you see the big shifts. People learn new things to apply. And here's Obey Alliance applying what they have learned. Be assaulting into hookah. So what do? Take control, circle, couch, and you just have to clear every single bit here. Face checking from Abunai. There's no reinforcements that are set on the hallway here from the lounge. And I like this drone as well, being set up from the Jackal on 90. So it'll give you information way wide into 90. And you'll be able to compete against any opponent on the other end of this hallway. As you do see, there has been an entire array of punch holes that have been set up by the defenders, and they're going to be using those later on as the assault gets more aggressive.
So that from Abunai was he was just checking to see if anyone was playing at Vase. There was nobody at the Vase position, so he switches to the explosive, tries to clear out Cocktail Bar, pushing up, and oh, it's a double-way crossfire. Neptunes comes out on top through that crossfire and gets the kill. Forrest now up against the wall as he's got no one to support him, and as Callout is eliminated in Aqua by Neptunes again, it's looking really bad for Obey. Their double push here onto Cocktail Bar has been thwarted, and it's getting even worse as Gonfi adds to the tally, leaving just Fozo and Grixer. Well, both on side of that, or outside on that hookah balcony, and that's not even near the site, really. The objective here is still clear the roamers, but they've hit a brick wall, and I don't expect Obey to recover from this.
Now, Fozo's going to try to maybe find a kill here and there, but there's just not much when it comes to flexibility. There's so much effort and manpower and utility being set upstairs by the Soniqs, which is why, I mean, you look at this and the way that things are set up, you expect this to be a hookah take, but it isn't. They're so far back. Goddess will get one to get down, though, by Grixer right here on the Ash. Got to go for the ace to save this one for Obey Alliance. It really was mistimed. Everybody from Obey looking the wrong way as they try to enter a bit overzealous. And it'll be the Jaeger that just standing around the corner and with support from the castle. I love the double angle play from the Soniqs. They had coverage over everything and hesitation, no steps. The Zofia came in. She was looking at the right way and then she looked the other way towards the blue stairs at the last second and everything was thwarted. Same thing happened to the Jackal, and things fell apart.
So to put it bluntly, the coordination there on Obey wasn't fantastic. Soniqs pushing all the right buttons at all the right times. When they managed to actually take the fights, they were always in the advantage. We saw a really big round, in particular from Neptunes. Got to applaud his efforts on the castle. So props to him for that. Pivoting to the right angles at the right moments. On the side of Obey, a little bit of trepidation, kind of obvious there in that attack. You could see the setup. I think you all could put together that setup. It was double hookah bar balcony, single aqua, and double VIP hall. A simple pincer strategy onto the top floor, clear out the roamers, then start hitting the site. But every single fight went the way of the Soniqs because the Soniqs were timing themselves really well, and because Obey were just a little bit too slow on the punch, honestly.
Yep.
They had a couple moments there where, or a little bit too slow, a little bit too fast, whatever you want to look at, because you could say, okay, Obey didn't seize the opportunity, because they did. They had a few moments where Soniqs were not set up properly, and Obey could have capitalized. On the flip side of that, they also could have waited longer, used their smokes, and the rest of the utility a little bit more wisely to facilitate a late push and make the gunfights go their way. Either way, but Obey found themselves right in the middle in an unhappy place.
Yeah, there was a lot of time for Obey to work with. They just didn't use that oh-so-important bit of material to their advantage. That's how things fall apart. I mean, it's one small wrong look, one small mistakes. That is something that's going to lose you the entire round. And this is something with the Soniqs, they know this. They might have not had a great Pro League season, but it's not like these are basics that have escaped them the entire time. Now, Albunai will come in and lose the gunfight to Slebin up in 90. Grixer will refrag, but he takes quite a bit of damage as well on the Ashe. Goddess will tank the grenade as it's thrown right onto her, and she spots the Dokebi laying down on the Lamborghini itself by the doorway. Goddess, oh, can she find the head here? It might be forced away from the front desk. She looks away and gets shot in the back. Fozo is ready, prone on the floor. It falls for Soniqs. Is now Super to be forced out in his small rotation hole here, picked up by the lobby. Gonfi will be using the drone to his advantage, and he will win the gunfight. But so low on HP, he's going to need the support from Super, and they are both doubling up here on the Dokebi. Find the kill. No! Oh, Fozo, beautiful kill as he turns around. Gonfi solo on HP, cannot retaliate, and it's Super left all on his own here in the lobby. Low on HP, he's identified, he's spotted, he'll be detected, but he'll drop Fozo. The Fuser is now on the floor, and he might not know about any of this right now. He rotates around, and the smoke will be thrown right at the doorway, but it will miss. Here's the second one as well to be confirmed, but the Dokebi's already been saved. You fire into the first, and Forrest will go down. Run away, Mr. Gump. Here's the second smoke. Yes, it'll be thrown. No more left here for Super utility-wise, and 6 shotgun shells. Waits for the cross of the Dokebi. He's solo on HP, but gets shot from the lobby. Well done by Grixer to follow up. And Obey re-secure the round as it got a bit hairy there. Super so close to saving it.
Honestly, Super had a great position to win that. What actually happened there, and it's well, what I think happened, I'm sure Super will tell me if I'm wrong.
He will.
He felt pressured by the guy in the main lobby. You could see the tracers come in through the rotation. So because a lot of you, I'm sure, are wondering why he pushed into delivery, why he was trying to take the fight to the guy he knew to be on delivery. And that's just it. He knew where that delivery guy was. He knew if he took that fight, he could win it and then force it into 1 versus 1. Not a lot of cover and delivery by the desk, but you can make it work. Plus, he had to have expected the diffuser to be there. So he figures, okay, I can play off of that if I win that fight. The problem was that stretch of land between supply/storage and the delivery doorway is so vast. It's just so wide in that situation. And the rotation holes that are set up foot level really ended up being, nail. I guess the last nail in the coffin there for Super.
Yeah.
So what was happening there is Super was just trying to take the fight that he thought he could to force the 1v1 out of smokes and only, 50 seconds left. So, I mean, I get it. I get the thought process. Obviously, he can't see through walls like we can, so it's unfortunate that he didn't know. He probably could have just anchored
Yeah.
and stayed on that shield, kept the advantage in the engagements.
It's so unfortunate that the first smoke missed. If he had that last smoke, or if the first one had been thrown correctly, it would have killed the Dokkaebi right then and there, and he would have had an advantage. These are tiny things, and it's not a fault. It's just it happened.
It did, yeah. I mean, it was just a tiny little piece of wood too.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
I know.
Just one little piece of wood's not there. He's got an extra gas canister to delay for another good decent amount of time. You can chain those even on top of each other for longer than they're worth. If you're good at smoking. Anyway, moving on. So 1-1 now.
Yeah, there's a camera shot down in the top of 90. Comfy is playing the Doc this time around. It's got one of those newfangled shields to use as well, so kind of a mirror as well to be used. I love the bulletproof camera in the hallway. If you don't have access to a Maestro, it's a very good alternative. You can bring the Zofia, deal with that pretty easily. Might be Jaeger ADS somewhere trying to protect it. Try to burn it, maybe if you have the utility for it. Otherwise, Obey should be able to clear that out and leave the Soniqs blind for a bit of a moment there. Goddess will be spotted, playing the smoke inside of the minibar, and Neptunes is setting up on the Echo by the blue staircase.
Call out into Aqua. He doesn't even need an assist. He solo drones in and pushes, and he's got good control from this position. He might even go for a rush with the rest of his team. Grixer's in, but he can't make anything happen. Call out and Foes are the ones to actually get the kills. Goffy gonna be down by Call out and finished off there for his second kill. Super trying to retake from the blue stairs, but they've already lost control. There's an attacker by Vase, and Slevin has to take 3 different fights to get up these stairs. It won't happen. Obey take their second round. And the third of this map.
Very well done here by Obey. And this time, they slipped through the cracks of the defense of the Soniqs. The fact that we looked at is like, wait, suddenly, why is there a player right next to the shield? There are actually 2 pushing up into hookah at the same time from the balcony. Callouts were true, cameras were there, the drones gave them all the info that they needed. And once the linchpins of the anchor were taken away from the Soniqs, it all fell apart. And if you look at it, in the very first round, Obey had a similar entry as well that was prepared. Unfortunately, they looked the wrong way. Now they warm up, they give the correct information back to their teammates, and that's how you're able to capitalize. If anything, you're overwhelming your opponents with just so much fire and so much bodies pushing onto a site that they just cannot decide which one to shoot at first. It really is overwhelming your opponents with numbers. You bite off more than you can chew as a player, and even if you get a kill off of it, you're gonna be taken off, and your position will be lost regardless, which means even a bigger loss because the site itself has been forfeit. But that was last round. What's the change? Soniqs will maneuver their shield to be a bit in a different position here, closer to the reinforcement in the center of the wall between hookah and the pool table room. So they're going to have a bit more protection to deal with, plus the bomb chassis itself here on B. I'll assume Comfy will go for that same spot as he did last time, and the Pulse will be the big change off of the Mute that Super ran in the previous round. So I'm quite excited to see how and where he actually sets up with the Operator, because if your problem was to detect when the assault is going to happen, the Pulse is a great way to kind of negate that factor and predict things, but he's probably going to be playing from the bottom floor, and that's something that Obey might not be expecting at all. I think I saw somebody maneuvering around here by the kitchen, but Abunai will be checking around, and there will be no cameras left standing. There's the drone. There's the drone. Yep, you got all the info, and it seems like this site is fairly open, fairly flexible. You see 2 players, one behind the shield, one by the minibar, and there's the Echo on blue stairs. You're expecting 1 or 2 players to be off of this site. And Force is looking for the kill, but Nitro perfectly placed from Super. That's the play that the Soniqs were looking for.
All right, so Super gaining his team an advantage early on. It's going to be a solid one. A pretty common C4. Obey, I guess not expecting that. They do have IQ, so they can play counter to that C4 from below. Neptunes is going to get Abunai, so it's getting worse and worse for Obey Alliance as kills continue to rack up in favor of the Soniqs. Fozo trying to challenge a shield. You just don't challenge the new shields like that, Fozo. That's not how they work. That's going to be an advantage ever deeper for Soniqs. But Kala will get the first kill for his team. Super hits the floor. This is still doable for the last two Obey players, though not very likely to be a success. I mean, considering the diffuser's down on Hookah Balcony, there's only a minute left, and these last two attackers are nowhere... Well, okay. Grixer's pretty close to that diffuser. He'll pick it up, I'm sure. But they're nowhere near each other, and they're going to have trouble actually hitting the site together in any meaningful way.
I love this drone here. It's going to give Grixer quite a bit of information, but because there's the shield, you can't deal with it. You don't have any breaching rounds, nothing of the sorts, and there's the support gone. Callout is done, and it's all up to Grixer on the Ashe. He's got all three rifles that are looking right down him, and still even one player maneuvering his way up into the hallway. There's the shield, there's Blue, there's the Jaeger that has just passed. The smoke will be thrown in right at the doorway. Entrance to Hookah, and there's a lot of smoke in here. A lot of damage done to the Ashe. He's down to half HP, and Grixer is only moments away from death. At 15 seconds left, you're going to have to go for Hail Mary. And there's the push. Immediately shut down. I love this from the Soniqs. They adapted so well, and Super running the pulse on the bottom floor was just excellent. If you stop them dead in their tracks before they push the button for the aggression, that's where you can just halt it right then and there. Wonderful play.
The thing that really puzzles me, I mean, there's a lot going on in that round, right? Like the C4 from below was pretty important, of course. That's a common C4 for sure, because the challenge into the VIP hallway, into the cocktail bar and billiards, that angle is very commonly taken by the attackers, and it's hard to hold VIP. So what do? You play Pulse or any other C4 operator, throw them in kitchen, done. That's it. That is a beautiful way to counter that position. Super did it well.
Attackers need to locate and defeat.
I'm really, you gotta lay that at the feet of Obey. Not expecting that. Kind of surprising. The more surprising thing for me, though, and this is weird because it's staring Obey in the face. That shield on the vase doorway that Neptune just sat on for pretty much the whole round. It was Neptune's, right? Yeah, pretty sure. There was an Ashe and a Zofia, if I'm not mistaken. They both have the tools to clear ADSs.
Yep.
Why not?
Well, the Zofia got knocked out in the early stages thanks to that Nitro Cell, and the Ashe was not expecting any of this.
That's true. But no, but the Ashe could have.
Yeah, it definitely could.
Destroyed the shield.
I don't know where the ADSs were set or if there was any ADS set in there, but
the Ashe can clear the ADS.
Very much so.
And then destroy the shield.
Exactly.
She can clear two ADSs and then destroy the shield. It's weird. Just weird. And that was such a roadblock for Obey through the round. So not this grand strategy mistake that Obey made in that last round that cost them necessarily, as much as it is some like, hey, there's a problem right in front of you, maybe solve it, then move on. I'm sure they had a reason. I'm sure they did, but I'm not sure what it is. Well, moving on. It's going to be a looks like a double bar defense, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Seems so, and they're putting a decent chunk of utility here. Soniqs, again, to hold on to that top floor. So Hookah will be essential to their hold. I really like this. I don't think enough teams do this. They mostly will focus on the bottom floor, but there's a lot being put down from Soniqs to hold on.
We'll see how this plays out for them. Last time we were here, Obey struggled with their timing. You could say they got unlucky, but that is really how this kind of comes down sometimes. And we'll see what happens this time around as they are ready to rush into Cocktail Bar. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Neptune's. Goddess, though, putting in work, getting two for herself, and Gomphy gets one to add to it. Neptune's landing his shots again, and Gomphy the final kill. It's a flawless round for the Soniqs. Truly impressive. I mean, that's the same thing that happened last time we were here.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening here for Obey trying to assault this site, at least in the way that the Soniqs are defending it from the top floor, which is something I really like. They were assaulting into billiards and hookah as sites very efficiently. You know, there are mistakes here and there, but this is with less utility being placed on those oh-so important positions. Yet their take is completely different in the way that they try to do it, and they falter in even harder ways, I want to say, when trying to push through there. You saw Gomfi, the Jaeger, was just uncontested the entire time, and he was able to collect 2 kills there pretty swiftly. And Goddess did a ton of work on the Echo there, taking out at least 2 players. It was just Information City, and the Soniqs were catching them all. There's nothing that Obey could do against them. You look at this, though, we're nearing the end of this half. This is, of course, the 6th round, so the last one of this half for Soniqs on the defense. Obey are looking for 1 more on the board. If they make it 3-3, that's a good start for them.
Not bad.
So if Soniqs trail away from the defense with 4-2, they'll be sitting pretty for the second half.
10 seconds to go.
Well, we talked about how Coastline is one of those more balanced maps in terms of attack defense. So 3-3, still anyone's game. Now, Kitchen. Oh, last time we were here, it was really interesting, actually. It looked like we had a good chance for the Soniqs to take it, but Obey managed to win it out. It was actually Obey's first win. And Super was in a 1 versus 3, if I'm not mistaken. Couldn't make it happen, but he put in a good effort. We saw a lot of unanswered kills coming out for Obey, where they just were able to rack up such a tally that it was too hard for Soniqs to bounce back. Putting all that onto Super's shoulders in the end again. But I'm sure this time will be a little bit different, although we have seen a lot of repeat rounds so far through this map.
I really want to say that that round was won and lost at the lobby.
True.
Just because of the way that the setup was placed from the Soniqs. And once the area was taken, there was just little that could be done. And there's the play from the Jackal. So you'll know that there's players in the back here playing inside of Projector. And Abunai is going to try to assault that. Is there anybody coming in from the opposite end of the map to kind of pressure the Soniqs? That's really the big question. You cannot let the Soniqs escape with 3 players placed here, because if anything, they're at least burning so much time off of you. And that's something you can't just afford to let go. Slebin will find Abunai. The Zofia has been taken away, and Slebin will just double down and sit on his own in the theater now. Chilling.
There's going to be a call out to get rid of that chill with 2 kills, and things are starting to heat up here for Obey Alliance. Gomfi and Goddess still positioned to hold on to the main lobby. Super, likely on anchor. These breaching charges are going to be a huge factor, as it will force the Soniqs to reposition. Super actually not anchoring. He is set up for a late flank by Vase. He could at any moment start running towards 90, come up behind Obey Alliance. Obey has to be vigilant and look out for that, but looks like actually Super is going to bring it back. We're hitting the last minute of this round, so it makes sense for Super to bring himself back to the site and try to anchor this out, especially using his gas canisters. He could be a great assist to his team.
Yeah, they're trying to find the Echo playing from behind, and Goddess, she runs away, and Super takes a tiny bit of damage here on the smoke, actually down to around 75 HP. Gomfi trying to fight here against the IQ, but Goddess will be the one to find call-out. Gomfi inhales just a tiny bit of that smoke and is taken very low. Around 5 HP left, and it's Grixer to finish him off. A 3v2, but the Ash is so low on health. Oh, unfortunate, the Super steps right into the welcoming arms of the Dokebi. It's Goddess on her own, and there's reinforcements everywhere to block her position. She's going to be spotted as well, and will lose out the gunfight against Forest. They'll run away, and there's Obey to tie it 3-3 at the half. Very good effort here from Obey, as Soniqs really are kind of trying their best to move and maneuver around the map efficiently, but they're getting caught off guard in one location or the other. And when it comes to this, either you lose the lobby completely and you're forced to turtle, or you're just forced to stay inside of the lobby, and there's kind of nobody left to anchor rotate between the site and your bunker, I guess, at this point.
You know, big thing about that is the Jackal being unbanned. I gotta say, that was one of those tools that allowed Obey to get any rounds. Jackal on Coastline is the absolute worst to deal with as a defender. And I can't believe I didn't even make note of it when we finished the ban phase, because he is so frequently banned on this map, it's kind of ridiculous. This is one of those maps where you just don't want him to be in play. Actually, stand corrected. His ban rate is high, but it's not the highest. Capitao is the most frequently banned on this map at a whopping 25%.
And he isn't, and now we finally get to see him.
Yeah.
That was something that was not used at all.
But I stand, by Obey.
Yes.
Yeah, but I stand by my point. And I stand by that that Jackal was definitely the reason why Obey got a lot of those rounds. He forced those defenders to reposition so frequently. It was just, whoa, must have been hard for the Soniqs to deal with. I like the way that Grixer does that. So he sprays the wall to make a bunch of bullet holes. And then he sets up the bullet holes he wants to actually use in positions he knows. So it's the same kind of concept as, oh, I'll make a bunch of punch holes and then one little bullet hole. But since everyone's onto the whole bullet hole thing, he's just hiding his bullet holes in other bullet holes now. That's clever. It's clever. We do see that. I mean, it's not the first time I've ever seen it, but, you know, it's not the most frequent thing to be done. Usually that'll happen on what I would call a disposable wall, one that does not need to be held as much as it needs to be used to slow down. And that's exactly what Grixer's trying to do here. He's trying to slow down his enemy. It's hard for the attack to challenge this. You can see he's faking out there, but Neptunes doesn't fake out well enough. Grixer bides his time and strikes when the moment is right.
2 drones eliminated, plus a player slubbing, though. Find the refrag, and that's the Jaeger. Taken off. At least you're equalizing numbers, but you still have to deal with that pesky Vigil. And because you're kind of limited on drones, Soniqs might need to sacrifice some late-round flank drones right now, as they'll spot the shield, and it's been already set up here. Super will find it. He has everything really to deal with it, and all these bullet holes. This is the most annoying thing to deal with in the game currently. It's understandable. It's just how will you kind of prepare yourself to push it away. And oh, Fozo so close to getting the kill from above, but it's Comfy to find Grixer. There's the Vigil. It's been annoying you the entire round so far. Fozo will spray in and do a bit of damage to Super, but he's still on the rappel. He's still falling back, and Super, a beautiful peek up as he takes down Fozo. There's 2 players now left alive for Obey, and they're forced to go into fragging mode. And this is not a good spot for you to be in. Final breaching ground will be picked off and used to destroy the castle barricade, and the entry is there. Possible to assault.
Got us established a good angle using her X-Garros there. It's a common one, again, from VIP all the way into Billiards. It's going to force these Obey players to play a little bit safer. They won't be able to actually rotate it as well as they would like to. And considering it's a 4 versus 2, it's made even worse. Now here comes the Jackal again. That footprint is of a dead person likely, so he can't scan it. Sleb is looking for the angle. This is a different kind of setup, and Callout's actually going to get Super on Repel. No Nomads to be put onto that run out, and that's why Obey banned the Nomad. Forrest will also get Gomfy, and Callout his second kill. It's all on Goddess all of a sudden, and Callout gets the triple for the win. What a clutch 2 versus 4, and Obey, they bring it back.
That was beautiful teamwork from Obey. They knew where the attack was coming from, and they just ran it. They played together, the smoke and the echo, doubling down, turning to the same location, and making noise when they should be covering their teammates as well to distract the Soniqs. You have numbers, but unfortunately, those drones were sacrificed earlier, and I really want to put it down to just lack of information, because the Vigil wasted so many drones and so much time as well, where at the end, it got complicated before the push actually happened, and you were kind of limited on time and space.
Well, I said at the beginning of today that Obey still have to prove themselves. And that right there, that round, that's how you prove yourself.
Yep.
That's how you get the accolades and all the praise that I guess, well, you got to earn it.
Yep.
And well done to Callout especially. He had a really good round there. Great position, making a name for himself. And now we get to go to the double bar for the second defense from Obey. Oh, and on the other hand, since we're talking about making a name for yourself, improving yourself, from Soniqs, that is how you get relegated. Because as much as that was a really cool comeback from Obey, you also got to point a finger at Soniqs a little bit there. They had a frustrating round, and I can imagine that in the comms of Soniqs after that one, there was either dead silence and pure frustration, or guys, something along those lines. It happens. It happens. And it's going to be a real test for Soniqs to see if they can bounce back from a round like that. A real proving ground here for them. Oh, for both teams. You know what? I do that all the time. I do that all the time, and yet every time I see it, it is so hard to look at when the drone bounces back where you don't want it to be.
Oh, no.
I hate it.
I have to do it.
When I do it, I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah, it's just an eye roll moment, I guess.
It is.
But Goddess is going to be joining in, and you'll see this is a very odd way of setting up. It's just denying this office from the Soniqs, and they're even going to be using a crossbow bolt for it. And Albunai with a refrag on Gomfi. This is huge. You lost the Legion, sure, but you killed the Ash, and you're able to expend utility from the Capitao. But a great kill from Slubin. Make sure numbers are cut down for Obey. Still going to be fighting back with 3v4. Neptune's taking a bit of damage on the IQ, down to around 70 HP. Oh, so close there to getting shot out. I believe that was the Echo as well, playing by the vase. Yeah, that's Forrest. He's going to be checking all the bullet holes and all the angles that he has preset. Super is calling out information on the smoke. His call out will fall back. Not sure if he spotted the drone behind him, but Forrest will be spotted by a drone as he gets up closer to this blue stairs, and Slevin is watching for rotations through security.
Well, slow, methodical so far from Soniqs. Clearing out those roamers, doing a great job of that. Now they're going to start using that top 4 advantage to try and pick off some of the anchors. We've also opened up a hole into the blue bar, and that's a safe hole, which means that they can rotate without being exposed to the long angle on the far north side of the blue bar room. It's a good rotation to have. Of course, Yokai drones and smokes are still in play for Obey Alliance, so they can delay and deny that hole for now. Question is, for how long can they do that? No gas canisters left on call out, which means it's all on the Yokai drones now.
Oh,
call it again. Kill. He keeps going for these angles and keeps winning these fights, but he'll finally be shut down by Slevin. Oh, Forrest is in the fight, and he's going to get 1, but Slevin gets his 3rd, leaving just Abunai in the 1 versus 2. One of these attackers upstairs, one of them below. The diffuser in hands of Slevin, though, and he can go for the plant. He's going to do just that, but he has to stick it as we're getting low on time. Decent cover here from Neptunes. He's outside on the window now, and Abunai has been spotted in the office. He's looking for the fights so he can put this into a one-on-one. The rush is not going to work out for him, though, and Soniqs will take their first attack round.
Well done here, Soniqs, to recover in the round. I have to say, it got so close. The Echo got in the middle of the smoke, and had he survived exiting that perilous position while stopping the diffuser from being dropped, it would have been massive. You had the Yokai, you wanted to get aggressive, and I really love the way that the IQ had an open hole as well. She had opened it herself with the commando to have a look from pool table all the way from that top floor down into the lobby. The singular rotation available for the Jaeger. You, if not get the kill, you'll at least be able to spot that Jaeger rotating around, going into security. That's where the Jackal was placed before, but because he was forced off of that position, he had to go and plant. The Soniqs know how to predict these plays. They know how to position themselves to deal with them. It's just sometimes some gunfights will just not go your way, and your opponents will move in unpredictable manners, and you will have to adapt to it. And Soniqs definitely adapted in that round. They end up with a tied scoreline at 4-4, and now we'll be seeing Kitchen here as the next site from Obey Alliance. Of course, usually you see a Maestro. Maestro's banned in this case, so none of that over here. I don't know if somebody's going to bring a bulletproof camera, but I assume that there's a big reliance on the Valkyrie and the Echo, so no real need for such a bit of gadget.
The fact that the Valkyrie is not banned on Coastline is also another one of those operators that's just so powerful on this map. Jackal, Capitao, well, Capitao always, right? But Jackal especially on this map. Valkyrie's really good here. And there's only so many bans, right? Is this going to be a rush? Because it might just be with the way that these attackers are setting up. It will be a rush into delivery. And good access here for Soniqs, but they're being shut down by Obey. That's 2 unanswered kills, and it'll be a stall out for Soniqs. They're going to fall out of delivery. and start looking for kills elsewhere. Sleben will go to the main lobby to get Grixer. He did eat a little bit of damage in that fight, but at least there's a kill on the board for Soniqs, which puts them slightly back in this round. But no second kill for Sleben, as he's shut down by Abunai, peeking wide. Just Goddess and Super now. And, well, really, what can they do in this situation? Sure, a few players on Obey are lit up at 50 HP or so, but that's still not a lot to work with.
Goddess doesn't know which angle to look through, and it's completely understandable. You got two players that are going around. I just hope that for Obey, they don't get overzealous and contest Goddess too early here to try to find her. Forrest is looking the other way as he knows that's the only other angle he really has to deal with, as he has the Jaeger to support him. And Goddess is watching from the front lobby, just trying to delay things, giving Super more time to go around the map and contest from there. But that's the reinforcement lost and stopped in its way. The red ball is off, and Forrest will find one more to end the round. A rush that failed, and then Obey Alliance kind of picking up all the crumbs.
So this has thus far been a very back and forth match. We've only seen 2 streaks in terms of rounds. Obey managed to get 2 in a row on attack, and then Soniqs put 2 in a row together on defense. Now here in the second half, it's been back and forth constantly. And it doesn't seem likely it doesn't seem like we're going to have a breakaway for either of these teams. You can expect this match to, at this rate, go to the 3rd map, assuming Coastline can be repeated on Cafe in terms of both teams' performance. Now, a reminder, this is Obey's map pick. So, conceivably, they would have some sort of advantage here. As, again, okay, let me run you guys through, if you're not familiar, how the best of 3 ban phase works. It's ban, ban, pick, pick. Ban, ban, and then you have your decider. All right, real simple. Now, what that means is that usually in a best of 3 ban phase, your map pick early on is your first or second map overall as a team. The one you like first or second most. Because it cannot be avoided by the enemy. Because they only get rid of 1. And usually that'll be a comfort ban. So Obey, this is the map they really like. They are super comfy here. And that's why they brought us here. So they should take the win here. If Soniqs manage to take this map number 1, and reminder, there are no draws in best of 3s. If Soniqs manage to take map number 1, then your outlook is bleak.
Yep.
Moving forward in the best of 3.
I completely agree.
So, and yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Obey. They are finding themselves currently up 1, but like I talked about earlier, I mean, this has been such a back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully expect Soniqs to bring this to OT, if nothing else.
Kind of expecting Gomfi and Sleben to come into their own now on the attacking side, and that's why you'll see them running the Jackal and the Ash. So you'll expect them to be the spearheads, or at least complementing one another. Super good spot here, and we'll take down Fozo. It's the castle, not the most important operators. The Capitao was dropped very low on HP here, but the work's been done. That's 1 gun off of the board. You'll see the Vigil going for the same strategy as before. Neptunes will spot him, and will just not even need to fight against it. Oh, does he know that there's Abunai close to him? No, he does not. That's 1 collected as Abunai runs right into the lounge, and he finds another one. Gomfi taken away as the Vigil is in support. Gomfi unsure of which location to look to. Now 2 players lost, which was so super solo on HP. Goddess will be able to find the refrag, but the work's already been done. The Jaeger has done so much work, and Grixer has been allowed to be placed in 90 with no information on him.
So was that Abunai being absolutely insane? A crazy player? Partially, yes. But you know what else it was? Soniqs not droning. You can't assume Penthouse is fully clear. Come on. Come on. I mean, I'm sure that Soniqs going, why is he there? And rightfully so. That's a really weird position to play, no matter who you are, no matter what level you're at. But come on, be thorough. You know you have time to do it. It's unlucky for Soniqs that they decided not to drone behind the penthouse bed. And Abunai took full advantage. 2 kills for him. And no man advantage because we saw a kill earlier for Soniqs. And that's 2 for Sleben. He's just chilling on the balcony. He puts 2 together, leaving just Grixer. So the efforts of Abunai earlier not really mattering in the long run, it seems, and Grixer are going to have to fight for 3K. Now, he's got 2 opponents that are on low HP, but he's not landing his shots where they really count. And there you go. The entry from Sleben and the final kill. Soniqs will take another round. Great round in particular on the side of Sleben.
I'm not sure how Sleben was allowed to get those 2 free kills, I want to say.
Yeah, they certainly were.
They were just given to him, and the round fell apart.
They're just giving them away. We're giving it away, Gassan. You don't know that one?
It's a reference, I get it.
Oh, okay.
Right? I've forgotten where it comes from, though.
Free. Is it free, Gassan?
It's free real estate. They're giving it away.
They're giving it away.
Well, here we are. 5-5. This is definitely a hot, contested game, and we're still in the first map of the first series. So we still have one more to go after this anyways. And it's those tiny mistakes. Again, mispositioned, one drone that is just a bit off, and you suddenly lose 2 players off of it. And there's Sleben on the Jackal, was able to collect 2 free kills after his team had lost 2 as well. Just fighting along by the penthouse.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot of rounds go the way that you want to go, really? We've had a lot of those. That last one in particular was a real doozy.
I mean, Soniqs had one as well when they were on the attack on this very specific site. It was 4v2, and then great teamwork from Obey, and
no one is innocent.
Yep.
5 seconds remaining.
You're going to make a mistake. And in this level of play, you mess up one tiny thing, and you're going to really feel it. Forrest is setting up here for a play early on, but yeah, the drone will be able to spot him, and he's going to fall back. Goddess knows what's up. You're not going to fool her.
She's being thorough. She didn't see the breakage on the drone jump there, but I'm sure she knows. And it's been a good match so far. Gomfy going to be applying early pressure to this main window repel by the Billiards. Ooh, 2 ADSs. Nice awareness there from Gomfy to get those. You'll also get the castle barricade on Aquador, which is going to allow his team to maneuver in that position when they go for the eventual take. Well, Sleben coming in downstairs. Now, with control of Office, he can deny C4s from below later when it's important. He can also apply pressure using his shotgun from below and dislodge any defenders who are in pesky spots like that Jaeger we saw in Penthouse, should he find any of them.
Yeah, right now there's none of that shield setup that was played in Aqua before. With Sleben, again, using the ITA, tons of flexibility on the Jackal. There's a reason why he is a really big ban operator.
Yeah.
When it comes to a lot of maps nowadays, specifically on Coastline, there's so much soft destruction that even a secondary shotgun is just massive. You have a great assault rifle to use as your main assault. You got double smokes and your Inox as well to track your opponents should you find anyone. And people that don't know, if you just shoot the floorboard and somebody actually walked over it, you can just scan the footprint from below. That works. Sleben, while he scans the head, he finds it. Fozo is down. That's the castle away.
Now, speaking of below, I mean, this is some great work here from the Soniqs, and Super is going to expect the peek from Abunai. Meanwhile, Neptunes will get a kill onto Grixer. We didn't see that one, but it doesn't really matter. Nice shot from Callout. Wow. Gomfy, though, will shut him down before another clutch is in order. Forrest now the last defender, and he'll get one. Can he get any more? Spray is not going to connect there as the wall, I believe, is reinforced. That's the Obey setup working against them in this particular instance. Now, there is potential for a run out here on the player and Repel, but the Claymore's in the way. He'll have to deal with that. There's the run out, and it will be successful. He can actually heal himself back to full. He's got a decent amount of time left on this diffuser, so he can do this. He's going to full commit to the overheal. This might actually work for him. He's got to find 2 bodies, one in the corner, and he finds it. A triple for Forrest. He needs but one more, but he's running out of time, and he doesn't know where this last attacker is. Such a nice try from Forrest, but Goddess, ever patient, ever vigilant, will shut him down and take the round for her team.
That was a beautiful reverse repel there from Goddess, and you saw the duck flicked up because he knew that something was up, unfortunately. He was looking at the railing, and it was just the perfect location for Goddess to be at. Well done. Nice try, as you said. But Soniqs now are on map point. As remember, the first map in this best-of-3 series. We're kind of warming you guys up for Pro League Finals next week. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. We'll be going on the. Are we going on the 7th?
I'm leaving Sunday morning.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
At noon, I have a flight from Krakow to London and then to Tokyo.
Wow.
And then we'll be taking a bullet train.
That's fast, man.
We might be on the same bullet train going back to Tokyo after the event is done. I'll tell you what, we're going to be pretty darn happy regardless.
Yeah, mine is I'm doing Tokyo after the event, then Kyoto.
Kyoto from Tokyo.
Yeah. After.
After.
I'll be staying for a pretty long time.
Yeah, I'm staying like just over 19 days.
Yeah. I'm in that same region.
Yeah. So, hey, I discovered yesterday after 2 hours of looking up trains, because I'm used to European trains, which means I can just book literally everything online and have my e-tickets. You can't do that in Japan unless you buy the Japan Rail Pass, but because I have one trip back, it's just not worth the money. But for you, completely fine.
I don't know if I'm going to be getting... Actually, right now I'm doing the math on just that.
It's like $300.
It's expensive.
For the Japan Railway.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
I'm doing the math, but you know what else we're doing? We're doing relegations for North America. And right now, Soniqs are on match point for Map 1. That could push them to this. Well, I will, no matter what, whoever wins this will go to Cafe. But it could push them up one course early on. And it would be Obey's map if Soniqs wins it, which is, again, very important in a best-of-3.
And that's exactly what I wanted to go to. It's just, Obey had a great time on Coastline right now, but this is their pick, and they should be comfortable in it as best as humanly possible. And if Soniqs take this, it might just be up to map 2. Now, again, this is all speculation. Who knows what will actually happen? But up in the air, as Soniqs are the Pro League team. And currently, they are showing that they can adapt a bit better than Obey, especially when crunches are really up against them. So when you're down on manpower, you can find those early picks. Huge for the Soniqs. Nitro Cell being set up by Callout, and it will hit. But Golfy instantly going for a shot, and that's an echo for IQ. Huge, huge trade kills there.
Yeah, a little mini game there, eliminated with both of them. So, IQ's not going to hunt the Yokai drones anymore, but they might still persist. They might be pre-placed, and that will allow Obey to gather information on those Yokais, if nothing else. Unlikely they'll be spotted as well in the long run. Now, Soniqs have good control on the top floor. They are making this go in their way in terms of soft destruction from above. They've lost some breaching charges, though, on their IQ, so that is, of course, going to slow them down. There is no dedicated soft destructor, like a buck or a sledge. You've got explosive soft destruction, but that is finite, so you have to be really selective of where you use it. And it has other uses as well. So Soniqs just focusing on taking control of the main lobby. You said how the last time we were in Kitchen, this was so important to the outcome of the round, and I agree. Main lobby now firmly in control for the Soniqs. That'll give them a good edge and a good platform to push into Delivery, which is their next targets, as they set up to plant that diffuser just inside of Delivery with cover from the main lobby on the crossfire. All of these defenders are set up on the west side. There's only one even close to deny this plant. And there's both Sleben and Gomfy to try and deny the rotation. They're doing just that as the plant starts to come in. Firebolt and smokes coming into cover. Grixer will land the C4 onto Gomfy. Callout with the rush positions himself on the diffuser, actually. Perfect spot to be, but Sleben will get his second to shut that down. No diffuser plant, and it's going to have to be a stick. Not likely to happen. Obey on the retake strategy.
Wow.
What a retake.
Callout MVP of the game for me so far.
Yeah.
Every time there's a plan, every time he needs to shine, he's put there. He does it. Shotgun in the face, SMG 11 flicks wherever you want him, and he just knows exactly when to react. This is a lot of map awareness that has been cultivated over hundreds upon hundreds of hours of play in scrims. This is what you get to. And it's overtime, by the way, for people that are watching out there. We didn't get it overtime in EU relegations. We haven't had these for a while, but here we are. You play a best of 3, basically in the rounds. And who's starting first on defense? That's Obey. They might actually have an advantage with that.
So that was a really interesting round, actually, that last one. I want to take a moment to talk about that, because there are certain defensive strategies and certain sites where You would say that it's a retake
Bomb located by attacker.
kind of site. Kitchen can be one of those. It is hard to play it as such, and the reason why it is hard to play Kitchen as a retake site, and if you don't know what a retake site is, it's basically where the defenders, instead of trying to hold hard anchor positions, they let the attack take the site, then retake into the defense before the defense can get the plant down. It's very difficult to pull off. But anyway, the reason why this site is
10 seconds to insertion.
hard to do as a retake site is because of how many angles the attackers have access to cut off rotations, to set up long angle fights, which will always be in the advantage of the attack. But the really interesting thing about that last round is that despite the abundance of control for Soniqs, for example, top floor, main lobby, these positions that the ones that I'm talking about that are so powerful at cutting off those rotations, so good at denying a retake strategy, despite that amount of control for Soniqs, they had it all and a decent amount of manpower to use those angles. They just didn't. The players in the main lobby tried to rush in to support the plant. The players outside delivery stacked on top of each other and got very little done. The C4 was a serious monkey wrench in the gears. And most importantly, most egregious, I would say, is that Soniqs were not using their top floor control to cut off rotation. They had 4 people alive, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't need to double up on one of the angles, and they could have put someone upstairs. I'm just puzzled.
I just don't know if they, because the IQ was killed, and you said it in the previous round, they didn't have extra soft destruction to allow them to get those extra angles.
It's true.
And because of that, they were forced to just move.
I also said that they had some explosive soft destruction that they could have used selectively. And oh no, that's the second time Callout has landed a C4 from below on this site. We're going into overtime, by the way. In case you're wondering how we're on Kitchen again, it's because overtime resets the rotation of those defensive sites. So Goddess gotten rid of early, and as I was trying to finish there, you would have used that explosive soft destruction selectively on the rotation like we see being used right now.
Yep.
But they didn't. Anyway, moving on to this round. Great job there from Callout.
This is what was supposed to happen in that previous round. Neptunes are looking to shoot the feet, and Callout has been eliminated. Well done for Neptunes. He just sits there, waits for the right moment for it.
You kill Callout, the round is winnable.
That's a good point.
That's the way it seems right now on the side of Obey.
Well, Super is going to find one of his own, eliminating Forrest. So that's the Echo spotted and taken off. I know there's a lot of soft walls here set up for Obey, but there are some that might not be too... I mean, you kind of don't want to leave them too soft for too long, as you see here. It's the main entry from the lobby. I wonder where the rest of the reinforcements are set. Probably somewhere up above, but oh, a free kill and diffuser drop. Nitro cell thrown, but will miss here from Grixer, and he's going to fall back. He knows where the diffuser is, and that's a great play here to eliminate Gomfi before his effect can really be felt when pushing onto the site, but the wall has been open. Super will pick up the diffuser. Gumine will be thrown right at the doorway. Do they know that the Valkyrie is nearby? Abunai is also waiting close by Grixer. Fozo will be felled by Slubin, but Abunai perfect positioning. Neptunes will find Grixer, and now Abunai spraying in. Diffuser's been denied. There's so little time. Abunai, don't peek for it. He still finds it. Abunai does it, and Neptunes will fall. Obey collect the first round of overtime on the defense. And that was beautiful play there from Obey to just fall back. There's no reason for you to keep on fighting, and the Soniqs, not enough information. Speaking
of information, and I'll get to this in a second, but really quickly, I want to give credit to Abunai. Beautiful play there. But speaking of information, you could see there at the end when it was the 1v1, Abunai versus the IQ, you could see he wasn't aware where anyone was until, split second, he reacts to someone's in open area, someone's in the garden. What is that? That's his teammates making calls. That's information being relayed. Or he heard it, but that's less likely considering it was an IQ. It was very quiet. Whatever the case is, actually, it could have been he heard it, because it could have been a drop from the top for all we know. That would have made sense. Because remember I was talking about how relevant top 4 control is?
That's true. I'm not sure where the IQ was in that moment, but I think he got the...
Well, either way, either information from his teammates or just great hearing from Abunai, assuming that was a drop down from the IQ. Either way, great job to Abunai. He deserves a lot of credit for that win. He hasn't had the most amazing match overall, but impact frags, guys. Impact frags. Now, we're moving on to the second to last round of overtime. Of course, it is first to 8 when you get into OT. So Obey has a chance to end it here. They're going to be attacking onto Billiards or Hookah.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Now, let's see. Let's go through history here. We have seen Billiards twice from the Soniqs. They have won it once, lost it once. So, this is winnable for Obey Alliance. Very much so. We did see some sites from the Soniqs where it just didn't seem like Obey could win it. That would be 2-bar or double bar. That double bar was just not something that Obey were capable of winning. Their pincer strategy on the top 4 was not working great. And actually, this is the double bar. It's not Hookah. I was wrong. The setup is the same as it was in the past, and I just didn't see it. This is double bar. This is the site that Soniqs were so proficient on, and it seems like we're going to see a repeat of the last 2 times Soniqs went here, which would bring us all the way to the final round.
And honestly,
I can't believe I was talking about Hookah.
It's the same. They are running a similar defense to it regardless. So I don't think the point is moot in this case either. I mean, you don't have as much utility, sure, because you're not playing on the site itself, but you're going to have to hold on to it. And 3 players are put upstairs. Comfy takes a lot of damage, but the Soniqs definitely know that this is where they should be pressuring. Grixer keeps on spraying through the soft wall as Forrest will be throwing a few rounds downrange as well, but the beauty of playing this is you can just drop on down and you will have support near you. As the round has gotten down to its half, Nitro Cell up by Super, and it will connect. Grixer is down, and Forrest is downed as well. Eliminated Soniqs with a flawless round. Beautifully played from the Soniqs.
So I'm a little embarrassed. I was talking about Hookah in the prep phase, and it was actually double bar.
It's okay, man.
I was about to say, I wonder why they didn't go to double bar. Oh, man. No, but we got there, and Soniqs managed the win. So we go to the very last round of this map. Where are we going to be going? Obey. They get to decide. Looks like they're settled on Billiards. So, in the second half, when Obey were defending, Billiards was gone to 3 times, and Soniqs won 2 of those 3. This was the first site that Obey went to. It is their most comfortable, obviously. But Soniqs put 2 rounds together on this site, and it was why Soniqs actually managed to push for match point. So, this is a big risk for Obey. I can't blame them, though, because the only other site that they've managed to win is Kitchen. And they can't go there because they went there in their first round of overtime. So, here we go. Last round. Obey up against the wall on a site that they're not that comfortable on. Soniqs trying to bring it back. They've been successful. We go to the last decider. This is as close as it gets in terms of matches. This is the sort of match that makes you say, man, I wish they could all just be in Pro League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is very much heated right now between these two. And honestly, when I saw Obey got the...
no way. On overtime match point?
Oh, I tried to snipe the drone there, at least get something, but Forrest will be forced back. I guess the entire strategy with this is, you know what, let's just try it. We're going to go for the Hail Mary. And when I saw that Obey got the...
It's been happening every...
Can I finish my point, Comfy? Yes, thank you.
Continue.
Okay, it's like every time... Oh, this is funny. Well, when I saw that Obey were starting off with a defense, I expected this to go to the very final round, and maybe this would be the massive advantage that Obey would have been looking for.
I mean, maybe. The problem, the dilemma is that Billiards has not been good to them. I mean, it's been okay to them, just not great. They've won it once of the 3, so this is dangerous. This is dangerous. It's anyone's round, really. And I like that. I like that we get that uncertainty in the final round, the final 2 minutes of this match. No matter who wins, it all ends here. Those ADSs again. I mean, obviously, Obey aren't seeing that, and when they check the VOD, they're going to be like, oh, well, I guess we're positioning those differently in the future. Yeah. But it's, you know, that's later. This is now, and those ADSs are not going to help anybody. Well, only a minute 30 here for Soniqs to start their attack. You can see that they're going for an Aqua take. Slebin's been doing some great work from below. He's set up an angle to deny the cocktail bar pressure. What he could do is deny that plant, or that gas canister, denying the plant on default spot.
Now, Soniqs are going to spot that there's really nobody inside of Hookah, so there's the potential to go in. You'll still have to be watching for players behind the reinforcements. And to deal what they'll be doing, Goddess setting up here with her X-Kairos as Forrest will find the first kill on Slebin. So now your flank is open if you're the Soniqs, but this is how you try to shut down your opponents, by using the X-Kairos, opening up the sides of the wall by the minibar. And this means that you're going to have to forfeit this position or get really, really close to the bar itself. There's one player as well watching from above. That was Neptune's on the sledge, so I don't believe that there's anybody playing here by the minibar, and indeed there is none. Going for you with a pre-fire, but it'll be forced back. As at 30 seconds, this assault has to come down from the Soniqs. Habana spraying in, expecting some plays near the end of it, but no, it's all slowing down. Soniqs, you got time. You gotta go. Flashbang is out, but it gets caught, and that's call out at the right moment. Peeks out. Neptune's coming in as the diffuser is going to be set. God is so close to getting the plant down, but call out will find it. Forrest will get one, but it's Fozo to shut him down. Flawless from Obey Alliance as our first map, Coastline, going all the way to 8-7. That's the way of Obey. Hard-fought victory indeed. But that's the new kids on the block fighting back.
Okay, so that last round was really interesting. What we saw there from Obey was something we've seen from them in the past.
Look at Call Out. Oh
yeah, first of all, let's take a second to highlight Call Out's performance.